Hello, I'm Mark the Dark. Today I have a very interesting cardboard box with me. It is in fact a Korg Prologue 16, the very first of its kind here in Denmark. Sadly it's not mine. It's very kindly on loan from a friend of mine who is apparently insane or something, because he hasn't even opened it yet. He left that to me. I have a precious few days with it, so over these few days I will be recording a bunch of videos, unboxing, a rundown on the features, a review, and then as many sounds as I have time to record. So I really hope you will stay tuned and enjoy what I make of it. And so without further ado, here comes the first part. So to get started, here's the box and a weapon to open it. Do note the warnings, so let's not take the blade out too far, and just carefully slice it open. Okay, so the packaging seems decent enough. Good thick lead and good shroud. Short manual and some sort of sticker. Kinda heavy. What a beauty! Seriously, look at this. Oh. I know you're jealous now, I know I am, but at least I get to spend a few days with it. There's a small package here on the side. It's just a power lead for the built-in power supply, so nothing big or exciting there. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so having a quick look around the back, we got the built-in power supply, I like that. Power switch, USB for MIDI and data connection, expression and damper pedal inputs, MIDI in and out, sync in and out for Volca select tribes and other Korg gear. Is getting to be a bit of a staple for Korg, but I quite like it. And then all the way over here we got the left and right output and headphone output. No secondary outputs for the bitemporal function, and no input for sending external signals through the filter, but this is actually quite common in these big analog polys. Moving round to the front, it's very obvious Korg pulled out all the stops. There's a real heft to this. Good quality metal build. The wooden sides aren't the best I've seen, but they're actually pretty good still, and they look the part. The switchgear feel a lot like that on the Mini-Log. That's a good thing, because that's really high quality. And all the knobs and everything is designed much the same, except they've added these nice little metallic indicator lines, which is a really nice detail. The keys feel also like really good quality, have a nice positive feel. So again, high marks for Korg there. I will, however, at this point be a little negative and say, at this price, where's my aftertouch? Seriously. That's the first of a couple of things that's just not good enough for a synth of this class and price. Over on the left, we get a classic pitch and mod wheel. The action is good, and the underlying potentiometers feel like they're good quality. But the wheels themselves are kind of flimsy, thin plastic, so again, that should have been better at the price, but still it's a step up from the pitch lever on the Minilogue and the monologue. Then we come to what I guess we could call the voice mode depth section. We have the master volume, portamento, and a nice stereo spread for the voices. Then there's also a balance control for the bitemporality, as well as toggles for selecting which layer you're editing and how the layers are addressed. Then we have the voice mode, which we know already from the Minilogue, as well as the knob for controlling that. This one toggles the sub layer, which is the second layer in the bitemporality, on or off. Then we come to the oscillator and mixer section. First off, we get two analog VCOs, like on the Minilogue, or I should perhaps say like the monologue, because this little telltale toggle switch is different from the Minilogue, but the same as the monologue. On the Minilogue, as you can see, it was two separate toggles, so you could have sync and ring mod at the same time, whereas this will only let you have one or the other, same as it is on the monologue. Then we got the cross mod, a nice pitch EG, and then one of the big highlights, the third digital oscillator, the so-called multi-engine, where we get a lot of features, but all in the digital domain. I will get back to this later. And then we have the mix of the three. One little note at this point, I would very much have liked to see a dedicated noise source. Instead, that's part of the multi-engine, but there's situations where you won't get the full benefit of the digital engine because you need the noise source and vice versa, really. Moving on to the filter, got a nice fat cutoff knob like on the Minilogue, resonance, envelope generator intensity, and then a drive knob which goes 0, 50% or 100%. And this is a mistake. The drive circuit itself is really sweet, but rather like the Waldorf Rocket, which also had drive on a toggle switch, it's too limited. It sounds nice, but there's a lot in between those 2 or 3 points that you're missing, and it shows. And then there's the cutoff, which is just on or off. Again, another toggle switch. This would have been much better on a knob, just like the drive. Key track, on the other hand, goes 0, 50 and 100%, and this is, yeah, like the Minilogue. That works fine. It's pretty standard these days, so I'm not gonna knock that. By the way, I forgot to mention that the metal panel is just fingerprints galore. It's all over. You'll be polishing this again and again. This could have been better as well, but it depends on who you are. I would probably not be as annoyed with it, except I have to really polish it to a pristine state before I can give it back to my friend, so that's that. Then we come to the modulating section. This is largely a carbon copy of the Minilogue. You get the same 2 ADSRs, a single LFO, 3 wave shapes, 3 targets, only one at a time. The only difference really is here is where the Minilogue had a toggle for enabling modulation of the LFO from the envelope generator. Here you get the speed toggle switch going from fast, slow to BPM. It's of course nice to be able to engage the BPM segment LFO right from the front panel. In the Minilogue you had to go into the menu system to get there, but I think the Minilogue's implementation, albeit a bit more fiddly when you wanted BPM sync, you got more flexibility and mileage out of it, plain and simple. This does, however, go really fast into like crazy audio rate stuff, so that's that. The Minilogue, not so much. We should also note that despite having quite a few buttons, there's no sequencer, which also means there's no 4 lanes of automation sequencing, where you, for instance, record in filter cutoff changes over a bar. There's none of that on this, and since it was already good on the Minilogue and the sequencer was even better on the monologue, I feel this is yet another massive oversight by Korg not to have included the excellent sequencer from the monologue in the Prologue. Then we come to the effects section. It's divided into 2 effects types. There's mod effects, which is chorus, phaser, flanger, and ensemble. This turns it on and off and selects the effect. Then the speed and depth section is delay or reverb, which I find is a bit of an odd choice. I would very much have liked it to be a mod effect section a delay, and a reverb, so you had all three. This would be a much more ideal setup. Then there's the same very nice screen that you got on the Minilogue and the Monologue. And then we come to the low frequency compressor. This is an entirely analog circuit. None of the settings are stored with the presets, so it's completely hands-on. This function is only found on the Prologue 16. It's not on the 8. Some of the other controls, like temporality controls, are not on the voice spread, are not found on the front panel of the Prologue 8, but it's still found in the menu, which is also why you will find it mirrored in the menu here in this Prologue 16. But the low frequency compressor is entirely just the Prologue 16. So beyond the controls, amount of keys, and voice count, this is the big difference. And of course there's this made in Japan sticker on the highest key. Korg's way of saying that they really cared about this synth. But I think that was enough of my yapping, so let's get into some sounds. That filter. Let's get some resonance into it. Not much happening there. Let's give it some more. So we're almost halfway up the resonance before it starts getting that bit of a quack. Let's try cranking it now. That's beautiful. And really nice ring to it, really nice harmonics. And it keeps the bottom end going even though the resonance is all the way up. So let's get some drive into that. So when toggling the drive, there's a bit of a dropout. And did I hear a bit of stepping there? Let's just try that one more time. So that's a nice audio rate modulation right there. Okay, let's just for good measure revisit the shaping options on the oscillators. Maybe I should just bring the drive and the resonance down for that. That's still through 0. I really like that. Let's get into the digital oscillator. So that's high and low pass filtered noise. I'm guessing that means it's a peaking filter. And decimated noise. That's it for the noises. But a pretty good compliment. Okay. Okay, that's it. That's some interesting sounds. But this last one, the user. Here's a little something. You can change the type here, but if you go into edit mode, here we go. Then if we just cycle through, we have wave A, wave B, subwave, submix, ring mix, and bit crush. So if we start out like this, however, if we go to wave B and change that up, also changes. Back to wave A. And it changes over there. So that mixes between the two waves. .44 B waves and 46 A waves, which you can mix and blend in between. Which you can mix and blend in between. Well, let's get the subwave into it. Submix. Okay, so there's only 16 subwaves, but still a mixture of 46, 44 and 16 waves that you can bounce in between and morph between. That's actually pretty impressive as it is. So I'd say if it wasn't for the fact that it has to share this with the noise source, then this would already be a very useful and flexible addition to the analog oscillators. So top marks already there. But I'm still waiting to see all the supposed user functionality, how that will actually be. There's a lot of talk about what it perhaps will be, but very little hard fact. I'm especially concerned, will this be for hardcore programmers only, or will everybody be able to load all sorts of shenanigans into it? So that's one of the big questions. Here it is. Another little thing I noticed. Multi-routing pre-VCF. Post-VCF. There's nothing. So you can actually bypass the filter for the digital waves, or in the case of the noise which has its own filter, you can do some crazy double filtering where the noise and the oscillators each are filtered their own way. That's a nice little touch. Too bad a lot of this stuff is in the menus, but I think the menu system is actually pretty nice. The buttons and the screen make it very quick to get around and doesn't take a lot of practice to get the hang of, so you don't need a manual or anything. For me, I didn't open the manual, I just started paging through, and well, half an hour or something, I almost got it. So kudos to Korg on designing that. I'm gonna do another video where I'm really gonna tweak out, so I think we should jump to some presets now, so give you a bit of a feel for that. Okay, conclusion time. I'll try to keep it brief, although it's kind of hard with a synthesizer of this magnitude. It's not as bad as I feared, but it's not as good as I hoped. It's not the no-brainer that the Mini-Log is. All the core bits, the oscillators, the filter, it's excellent. I think it's up there with the best on the market right now. And there's a lot of clever features and it's well built. But there's also a lot of the other things missing, considering it is a 2,000 euro synth. There should be another LFO, there should be the sequencer, there should be aftertouch. All these little things missing. And so, yeah, it's not the no-brainer it could have been. And that kind of thing always annoys me because, well, I'm me. But that core of it is so good that even though it is too expensive, really, it's well worth a second look. It's well worth testing. And I think a lot of the people that were gunning for, say, a Rev 2, if they try them head to head, they might be walking away with a Prologue instead. Depends how much you need the modulation, because that is missing. Thank you so much for watching. If you actually still stuck around, ended up being quite a long video. There will be coming a few more videos before I have to give the synthesizer back. They're gonna be all about sound. So punch that subscription button and stay tuned for those. I'll leave you with a little list of the good and bad with the synth. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.